Hello everyone and welcome back to another Getting Stuff Painted, a second episode, not quite a full 2 weeks after I filmed the first, but I found a lot of time because again, it's just been storm after storm and snowstorms and flooding and it's just, you don't want to go out in it, so the nice thing about that is it gives you lots of time to paint. Now I am going to violate my own chosen title for this series immediately because the first thing I'm going to talk about is something that is not painted, it's assembled, but I thought it would be interesting to show off this, I've talked about this when I unboxed the Assassin, or the League of Assassin wave for 3rd edition Batman, but all the leaders now come on these massive scenic bases, so I thought it would be interesting to show you how it works. This is Ra's on his decorative base, and he's got his little assassin man offering him, I'm not actually, it's one of those like scrolls, I think. So that's how it looks, assembled, and as you can probably tell, it is just a case of him slipping out, and then that's what you're left with underneath. So you could, if you wanted, have him on his massive base as a decorative thing, and then use him on the small base, stepping out the Lazarus Pit, as the thing you actually use on the battlefield when you're playing 3rd edition Batman. So that is neat. I mean, yes, it's decorative, but I couldn't possibly, it slots in very nicely, and it looks impressive, but utterly impractical to be moving like giant leaders around a table with tight buildings and alleyways and such. And obviously, again, as discussed, if you buy Ra's al Ghul, you're getting all of that whether you want it or not. If you wanted just a small base, tough. So I thought it'd be neat just showing that, what it looks like when it's assembled. Speaking of assembling things, you'll already have seen Thor get finished in the contrast paint video, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about him because I did in the video. I'm in the process of painting Loki, and as per a request on the video of painting Thor, I think I'm going to do a contrast video on painting Hela. I'm using Loki to test some stuff, like I used Valkyrie to test some stuff for Thor, so I'm going to kind of do the same thing, just to test a few different ideas. So that's another one knocked out for Crisis Protocol. Once Hela and Loki are done, that's it for Crisis Protocol until the next wave of releases, which is the Guardians of the Galaxy at the end of March. Oh, actually no, I was able to track down a Vision and Winter Soldier release, which has not been released at the same time as supposed to, thanks Asmodee UK, or EU. Either way, their parent company is absolutely terrible with sticking to release dates. It's the biggest hindrance for Crisis Protocol. Anyway, in that first video, I had a bunch of Batman stuff painted, all the cops from the Back to Gotham box. So I haven't really done much Batman stuff. That is the last remaining generic henchman that comes with the Joker side in the 3rd edition starter box. All very, very slightly offensive stereotypes for gangsters, all of them, not just this one. This one's kind of like an Eminem wannabe. But he was the last one I needed to do. I stuck with the theme of giving them all red high tops. That's literally the only thing I stuck with. Other than that, I just kind of did what I felt like. This is Joker, but it's not for Batman because it's New 52 Joker and he only came with rules for the DC Universe miniature game. So he is not usable in Batman. Not that they needed yet another Joker miniature, but I like this model. It came with the Crime Syndicate? No, that's the wrong one. Legion of Doom. Came with the Legion of Doom box for the DC miniature game. He was exclusive to that box along with Cheetah. So yeah, he's neat, but only usable in DC Universe. You'll see him in a DC Universe at some point. So next, a couple more miniatures from Fallout Wasteland Warfare. The last bog standard Ghoul they needed done. So that's a total of 3 Ghouls and then 2 putrid glowing, or 2 glowing ones, one of which is putrid. That's the box of Ghouls you can get, so they'll be turning up at some point in a kind of either in a neutral sense or the main antagonist sense. And then the other thing is more interesting. It's the bonus miniature you get with the, oops, I knocked the camera. The starter set for Wasteland Warframe, which is, did I say Warframe? I don't even play Warframe. Warfare, which is one of the Zetan aliens, I think it's called, Zetan, one of the two. So he's neat, I actually have 2 of these, weirdly. So that's one painted up in the style of the billboard alien things you can see in the Nuka World DLC for Fallout 4. That's kind of what I was basing it on, which is presumably what they based it on as well, because Wasteland Warfare is primarily based around Fallout 4. So yeah, he's neat. And also he counts as a creature, so if you're doing a creature faction, which is like ghouls and death claws and wildlife and things like that, you can include the aliens in that list. Oh yeah, and he was green before it got painted. So I thought that would be quite neat. So that's 2 Wasteland Warfare miniatures down. Again, contrast paint does not do well on those, so I find it a struggle a little bit. And lastly, I've been painting up a lot of other miniatures from the Dead game by Night Models, Marvel Universe. Also thanks to that video I did on the 3 I managed to pick up, I've had people contact me. I've struck a deal on some of the Dead range. I'll do a video on it once it arrives, but it's coming from America, so it might take a while. In the meantime, I found some of my own, but from that unboxing of the 3 main Avengers, as of earlier today, I finished painting the Iron Man. Bit too thin, as I think I talked about when I looked at the video, or unboxed video rather. But still neat. So apologies for the loud truck going past the door. The reason that he has actually still, his base is wet. I think I just got a bit on my finger. The reason I was holding off finishing him is I was trying a new contrast paint on him and the other miniature we'll look at in a second. All the gold parts of his armour are done in Nazdrag Yellow, which is the contrast paint that Games Workshop uses for like ultramarine shoulder pads, and they do their gold effects in contrast with that. I went over it with a little bit of Gehenna Gold, which I don't think fitted very well, but I think it looked neat enough, and trying to make it look like he's shooting a repulsor blast. So it turned out okay, and as I said, the Nazdrag Yellow was also used, focus, on Nova. This miniature is nothing special, partly because his costume is just so dull. It's just a black suit with gold nipples. But, or Nova Prime, is that what he's called? Either way, it's another one of the miniatures. Because Marvel Universe is a Dead game, there is a finite number of miniatures in the range, and if you don't include the Spider-Man ones, you're looking at like 40, I think it was 42, 43 miniatures. Very doable to actually find and complete a set, and it's become my drive. So once again, I will mention, if you have any of the rarer Marvel Universe miniatures that I may not have already managed to secure myself, contact me, we'll talk about it. So this is Rocket Raccoon with his big Flarking gun. That's actually what it's called, that's the rule, to use that big gun. Very small, very fragile, even in metal. He was kind of bendy. It turned out okay, I think. Oh yeah, I meant to mention, I've added grass to all the bases. I retroactively went back and added grass to the other Marvel Universe bases as well, because the Crisis Protocol ones are all in the city, so they're all kind of concrete and boring. I thought, why not spruce it up a little bit? I think that's in focus, more or less. So that's what almost another 2 weeks worth of painting looks like, if you don't include the assembled but not painted miniature I just brought down to talk about. Again, not a huge amount, but all very varied, and showing off different colours and different contrast paints, etc. In about 2 more weeks, I'll do another one of these updates, talk about what else is on the painting table. Obviously, Hela, Loki, some more Wasteland Warfare stuff. Got a few more Marvel Universe miniatures just sitting waiting, not including the ones I'm waiting on. So there'll definitely be more of them. Batman wise, still got a few of those to do, might start cracking into the League of Assassins releases, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you very much for watching these painting updates. I hope it inspires you to get on with painting your plastic. Get it from grey to moderately coloured. You know, just crack away at it. Don't set yourself any like ridiculous goals, like you're not going to buy any new miniatures until all the rest of it is painted. You'll just torture yourself. Just, you know, a couple of miniatures a week would still be progress. So I hope this inspires that kind of thing from you. By the way, if you ever want to show me miniatures you've been painting, at me on Twitter. I like seeing miniatures being painted, especially if you're better than me, and that wouldn't be hard. So thank you very much for watching. There's more battle reports coming for the games covered here in the future. The next one you'll be seeing after this, I think, will be a Wasteland Warfare from memory. And there's actually some new games coming to the channel as of March. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ta for now.